RVA Graphics and Wraps, a custom graphics shop that specializes in the design and production of the best quality made-to-order vehicle graphics. And by Lifeline. Lifeline uses the latest technology in motorsport fire suppression and extinguishing and is the leader of in-car fire safety systems using Novec and Triple F foam. And Willwood Disc Brakes. Willwood Engineering is a global leader and manufacturer of high-performance, original equipment disc brake solutions. And Cool Shirt Systems. Cool Shirt's personal cooling systems, vests, and garments offer comfort, safety, mobility, and durability when performance matters. And Maxxis Tires. Maxxis Tires International is committed to delivering high-performance, affordable tires to the world. And Frozen Rotors. Premium cryogenically treated brake pads and brake rotors by Diversified Cryogenics. And OMP Sport, one of the world's leading manufacturers of safety equipment and tuning accessories. And by Racing Radios, the leader in racing communications worldwide, providing quality and affordable communication systems for racers and fans alike. And DiscoveryParts.com, offering the best in auto safety racing apparel. ChampCar Live is brought to you by Low Tide Motorsports. More than just a crew. Experience the difference. 142 laps turned so far. Team Salem Salt leading the way with KSR Flatout Racing in second, Crowd Control in third, but effectively leading this race with Team Jackie Yakes just behind. I believe we're on board with Team Jackie Yakes right now. I don't have a confirmation on that, but yeah, things are getting pretty exciting here.
Yeah, that's Jackie X.
So these guys are currently in P2. They are turning some quicker lap times than the guys up ahead, but they've got a mountain to climb in 21 minutes, Doc. I don't know if they're going to make it.
Nah, I don't think so.
I mean, something needs to happen. Yeah. Something's going to have to happen to Crowd Control, but they are in a great spot. They're certainly in a great spot for P2 at this point, which is where they're sitting with Pistol Star behind them, back about a minute and a half as well.
I mean, Team Jackie X finishes second this race. That adds to their impressive collection of trophies here from Sebring. They're going to have to build another shelf pretty soon.
Right. Team Jackie Yakes, just one of the many teams out here this weekend that I don't know how they do it. You know, I don't know how there's so many teams that come out here with a lot of racing experience at all of these bucket list racetracks we go to, and this track just punishes and just grinds you down and beats up your race car into the ground. And then there's teams like Jackie Yakes that just seem to be able to hold up, although they did lose one of their other cars, the 66 car, to an engine failure.
Really wasn't attributable to the track itself. We don't know the nature of the engine failure, but they just take care of their equipment here. You get on board with these guys. Look how smooth he is behind the wheel.
Right.
You don't see him a lot of juking and jiving out of their drivers. They set the car up for the corner and barely move their hands. They just know this track so well and probably know the places to avoid. They know where to pass cars here because they pass them constantly. And, we talked about it earlier. They, very rarely you're going to get the, with 80 cars on track starting the race, very rarely are you going to get the racing line. So you got to pass them where they ain't. And this team knows how to do that. And that just comes from logging laps.
They've logged so many laps up here, and they know what the weaknesses were when they first started racing these cars out here, and now they've shored those things up so they can come out here and run successful races again and again and again.
Yeah, they've kept their driver lineup mostly the same. So the guy, every one of them has lots of laps here, and especially with the 2-car effort, if one car drops out of the race as the 66 has, You know, they can throw guys in the 935 that maybe didn't get their stint time, and those guys know the track too. So you're not giving up anything.
So I'm down here in the Team Salem pit lane, and these guys are discussing all kinds of really super duper top secret stuff with the salt car. So how you guys are leading this race? How's it going out there?
Yeah, things are going pretty well. The car's just been running great all day. Really no complaints. They said it's been handling well, and pit stops have gone well. The crew's done a really good job, so we're just kind of out there cruising right now.
You saw somebody poke his head out. Where'd he go?
I saw you and ran away, you know?
Yeah. So the other cars, how, you know, they were kind of up front, the yellow mustard car, but you had some issues with the tires getting involved with somebody else there earlier today. But how's that car doing?
You know, other than that little contact that set us back, it's been running really well too. I think that just kind of put us in a little bit of a hole today, but you know, we'll get it kind of fixed. The toe might be, we were just talking about it, the toe might be a little screwed up on it right now, so we'll come back out tomorrow and have another good day.
So it's interesting to see a car that's older than most of the people in this pit lane still racing.
Yeah, that's been kind of a fun challenge of the old rotary cars there, but that's kind of what makes ChampCar, or ChampCar, I guess it is now, a great series.
All right, man. Thank you. So how's the Salem sponsor going?
It's going great. You know, this is the first time we've been down here since 2015. We love this track. It's a classic road course. You know, you don't build them like this anymore. It's awesome.
So are you guys doing, what other types of racing are you guys doing next year?
I think when we pick the ChampCar races, we'll obviously do the Champion Dog at the Glen. We're certainly looking at Nelson. It kind of had a conflict because it was on the Salem 6 hours this year. I appreciate you guys moving that. So we're really looking at running that, and of course Pittsburgh again.
It'll be fun to see you guys, because I remember running neck and neck with you guys at the Nelson Legends. I think it wasn't the 24, it was like the 14-hour.
It was. Yeah, it was the 14 hours. So yeah, I think I remember it was really blazingly hot in that race.
Yeah, and you and I were neck and neck, but you guys, yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, that was one of those that got away from us, but that's all right. Our header broke, and we had to repair it. We welded a tab back on it, and we still finished like 5th or something.
Yeah, we were catching you. I was in 6th, and I kept yelling, "He's too loud." Black flag him.
Right.
But yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, that's our bucket list. If we can run that race to win that, because my dad ran the very first 24 hours of Nelson back in 1979 in a Volkswagen Rabbit, and then he ran it a couple more years later. So it's kind of a bucket list for our family to win that thing.
Your dad here this weekend?
Yeah, hiding somewhere.
Who's in the cars now?
Oh, Joe Salen's in the Cayman and Wayne Nonamaker's in the Mazda.
When they get side by side, do they get really competitive?
Maybe if they're in mustard and ketchup.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that Porsche is probably one of the best sounding Champ cars I've ever heard. I mean, it's up there with, I think it surpassed the Maserati we have there recently.
Yeah, it sounds good. You know, Tiger Woods always sounded good before.
Yeah.
But it has its own unique sound, that flat four. So, you know.
All right, man. Good luck out there.
Thanks.
All right, so we're on board with one of the BMWs out here this weekend from Bucket List Racing. And this is the number 147 car, the 89 325i, working their way around this racetrack. I'm just going to mute you down there, Bill, while you're not talking, just because of all that background.
Sorry, I thought I did. Sorry.
It's all right. Back on board with Crank Yankers Racing, trying to work their way around this racetrack too. We're just finishing things up, 14 minutes till they checker this race, and you can take a look at Race Hero what the standings are. Team Salem Salt up in P1 with KSR flat out in P2. Now, again, those first two cars are EC cars.
So
Crowd Control Racing is in third.
I talked to Dana, and Dana will actually flag the leading class car, not the EC car. So just an FYI.
Oh, okay.
Which
yeah, I'm done.
Looks like Crowd Control Racing.
Yeah, Crowd Control. I'm down here with Kevin Smith. And that was a last-minute entry.
Very last minute. That's kind of how I do things, I guess, which is kind of typical of us, I guess, or at least
You could
typical of
point
me.
the camera at him there, Bill.
I guess I can
can
point
see
the
him.
camera.
Yeah, put the camera right in my
We were
face.
looking
Yeah.
at your crotch, I think.
This is Bill's first race. Please excuse him.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So late race, you guys did you prep the car? Did you have time to prep it?
Yeah, that one. I mean, we had prepped it after Sebring, you know, in September, and it had some damage. Got rear-ended pretty hard. Folded the exhaust up under the car, and there was something else wrong with it. Yeah, we got that all fixed. It was sitting there ready. My Lexus is still kind of tore up, but it was sitting there ready, and like, yeah, well, let's get her loaded up. I got a couple of guys that wanted to rent it, and I'm like, all right, sure.
Can you catch the Mustang?
The Mustang or the Porsche?
Oh, the Porsche. Sorry, the Porsche.
Heck no, that thing's fast. That thing's bad fast. And a very, very nicely built car.
It's going to be odd not seeing you on the top.
Do what?
It's going to be odd not seeing you on the top. Either you or Philippe.
Yeah, and I mean, like it was really just to show up and have fun. Like I drove 2 stints today. I got 2 stints tomorrow. I didn't really push trying to, you know, rent or bring. David's car is the one we always try. The 225 Lexus is the one we always try to really do well with. That's the one we've won three Septembers in a row and 3 Daytonas in a row. But the 300CX for the B&EC is just for fun. So we were like 76 or something starting. Like Chuck that's in the car now, he's a good friend, and you know this is his second ChampCar race, and I mean he's freaking killing it. So I think he's hooked. So
Yeah, KSR, Kevin's team has passed 75 cars.
Yeah, you passed 75 cars so far today.
oh yeah, cool.
Just 75 cars for
We had a
position.
couple of long pit stops because it's just me and Chuck working the car. Like one of Randy's guys will help us hold the fire extinguisher and get out of the driver's seat, fuel the car, and then come over to the wall and about pass out. So I'm gonna be wore out after tomorrow. I'm wore out now, but I'm gonna be really wore out after the race tomorrow.
All right, man. Well, good luck out there.
All right, thank you, Bill.
All right, back to you guys. We've only got a few minutes left.
All right, Bill. So, yeah, that was an interview with KSR Racing Kevin Smith. And he does rent seats, folks. So, if you want to be in Arrive and Drive, you can do that. You can just get a hold of him. And
in a much top contender car.
yeah.
I mean, you've got a real chance of taking an overall anytime you get in one of Kevin's seats.
Looks like the sun getting a little bit low in the eyes of the driver on board in the KSR machine. But
kind of blinding there.
We'll head back into the Jackie Yakes machine, as they're in a really great spot right now. 6 laps down from the overall lead, but that's really not their concern. They're effectively in P2 in this race, behind the Crowd Control Racing Ford Cobra. 10 minutes remained in the race today. 147 laps turned. Finishing up a 7-hour race today. Another 7 hours of racing tomorrow, a separate race. And now it's just a matter of maintaining focus for that last driver in the seats to bring these cars home and finish out the day. So we started the race with 80 cars. I think Doc said a little bit earlier about half of them are still circulating. Some of the cars we've been really paying attention to today. One of them was from Ho Chunk, right? And in their Jeep Cherokee. They were looking really strong earlier today. Kind of dropped down the running order, though. But looks like they're still out here having some fun with that car. Crank Yankers up to 13th.
Some of these teams are really limping around to the checker. The Lightning Motorsports Honda Civic, that coupe just came down the front straight, and he's easily half as fast as the rest of the cars. So they're showing everybody the, hey, there's a fast car overtaking you.
Right.
So, but, you know, everybody wants to take a checker, especially at Sebring, because the track is so tough. And
It sure is.
So, I mean, it's you know, it's a matter. Of course, you always want to take the checker, but especially at Sebring, since you're racing not only the competitors but the track itself. About the only thing that hasn't come into play today, which normally does at Sebring, is the weather. It was a little foggier today, but I don't think anybody had trouble seeing. So now we're under full sunlight.
I can't do anything about it. I'm not near there. I'll have my camera on it. I'll have my camera on it.
So less than 10 minutes remain out here. Probably the team to most watch right now is going to be Team Jackie Yakes. Now I'm looking through the rest of the field. Looks like between Agent Chrome and Glazed and Confused, about a 35-second gap there. And those are running 5th and 6th right now. 2 A-class cars, those two guys fighting with each other. And just looking through the field, we've got like a 15-second gap between Inactive Motorsports and Gorilla Sticker. That's almost within visual on certain parts of the track. Inactive Motorsports and their Mazda.
All right, Paulie, you see
looking for a Gorilla Sticker. Yep. But we're on board with Team Jackie Yakes right now, as they're still continuing to slice through the field. 1 minute and 2 seconds down from Crowd Control Racing in their Ford Cobra. And it doesn't look like they're going to have enough time to put any real pressure on the SVT Cobra. Crowd Control Racing. Teams coming out here this weekend for a double 7 with the ChampCar Endurance Series. ChampCar, of course, presented by RVA Graphics and Wraps. As we get closer and closer to the 5-minute mark. And that sun continuing to drop in the sky. And boy, does it get tough on that back stretch. You can see it really starting to shine into the driver's eyes as he heads into the hairpin turn. And it's just as bad when you come around that turn 16 and head down that back stretch. And of course, we're used to running races that stretch into the evening here. That's not going to happen this weekend. And it's also pretty common for us to get rain when we're here at this track. But again, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case here today. And the weather is really fantastic. It turned out to be a great day for racing.
Yeah, it absolutely did. Yeah, I think the competition here on the track is going to end at 4 o'clock, as we've mentioned many times, and then I think the competition will pick up in the hotel bar later on. Because everybody's going to talk about what a great race they had with so-and-so team. It's like, oh, you're with them, man. We had a great battle. You know, it's always fun to do that after a race. And here with the 7-hour format, we have a chance to do that at Sebring, whereas most of the time, most of the teams are packing up, heading home.
I just think we ought to get Kenny out here and defend that fastest lap time of the day.
Paulie, I have exciting news about Kenny. Kenny will be here for the September race.
Hey, there you go.
Yep. We will be defending our fastest lap time here. You know, the last time we ran here, this was our very first race. We were supposed to be at the VIR 24. I don't know why I picked that race. So instead of a tough race to start our ChampCar career, we picked a tougher one.
There you go.
Because I think 12 hours at Sebring is probably harder than the VIR 24. And, now VIR 24 is harder logistics wise. And of course, you're battling the weather there. But, the track, not so much. Here, this track just beats you up.
Right. You're just trying to survive it.
Yeah.
The attrition here, it speaks for itself.
That's what I was saying. I mean, even just finishing here, you can pat yourself on the back. Because this track has defeated many a team. So winding down our race here, Dana's looking anxiously out the window. We got Bill in position to catch the checkered flag, and they are going to checker most likely the Crowd Control Racing D-Class Mustang.
Yeah, which is kind of new, really. Typically, they'll flag whoever's leading, even if it's an EC car. So that's kind of a change in protocol there, but whatever the case may be, it is what it is.
Yeah.
On board with Beast Z06. This is the Never Start Racing team in their neon, the number 234 car.
See the team's going out to the pit wall to cheer.
Oh, yeah.
Them.
Yep. Just a couple minutes remaining now in this race. Here we got a car that... Oh, we got a car into the wall. The driver looks to be out of the car.
Car into the wall somewhere.
It's hard to tell. The driver's out, so maybe they've pulled behind the wall, but this is... because you wouldn't expect the driver to be out of the car without a helmet on, unless there's a fire. So, yeah, there's somebody else there by the car, so maybe they've pulled it behind the wall.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell because
this
these
is
look the same. Both look.
Yeah, this is the Bucket List Racing team. Looks like they've pulled it behind the wall. So now there's several people standing around the car. So we'll just move on and ignore that situation. Sorry about that. Back on board with the Team Jackie Yakes in the 935 car. Just ran a 243 on that last lap. Excuse me, yeah, 238 to Crowd Control's 248.
So the teams have gone out on a pit road. They're standing behind the Armco. There's a slight gap between the Armco and the concrete barriers. Because those concrete barriers, if a car hits them, they will move and they will crush your foot and or feet. Should you be silly enough to put your feet next to a concrete barrier.
Gotcha.
We constantly, when IMSA ran on all the street circuits, we had to constantly remind people of that, especially photographers as they lean through the photo holes. It's like, guys, keep your feet out of there. If a car hits it, that barrier's moving, and it ain't stopping for your foot. Yeah, right. Baby. I will share this moment with y'all later when we're off broadcast. Here it is. Here's the checkered.
And there the checkered flag waves. And it is Crowd Control Racing that takes the checker on day one at Sebring. New Year's celebration. The ChampCar Endurance Series presented by RVA Graphics and Wraps. Crowd Control Racing takes the checkered flag and the win here at Sebring in their Ford Cobra. Team Jackie Yakes is going to come across the finish line in P2. And if things follow suit, that means Glazed and Confused 2, the 256 car, is going to finish third.
David Green won the race. And it was funny because David Green would end up marrying Mark Martin's personal manager. Yeah, they got to know each other.
So a pretty good race can be awarded towards Team Jackie Yakes, although they had a tough day of it, losing one of their cars to an engine failure.
I only know that because
They've got to feel pretty good about the results that they have here with the 935 car. So taking a look at Race Hero there, you can see your top 13. Team Salem Salt taking the ceremonial win as an EC car in their Porsche Cayman. You've got KSR then in second, also with an EC car. So it's Crowd Control Racing that wins this race today, with Team Jackie Yakes in second, Glazed and Confused in third, Agent Chrome in fourth. TLM Racing takes seventh spot in their EC car. Fifth would be Team Infinity, and then sixth would be BSI Racing, with Team Salem Mustard finishing seventh. And there you can see the remaining of the running order. Crank Yankers does finish this race effectively in 10th spot. So their goal was to reach top 10, and they did.
How about that? Way to go, buddy.
Now taking a look at the field, of course the race is not official in any way yet, but it's looking at Class A, sponsored by DiscoveryParts.com. It is Glazed and Confused, Agent Chrome, and BSI Racing. So Glazed and Confused will be in impound. In B class, it's Team Salem Mustard. They'll be in impound because they're the leading B class car. Ketron Racing and Inactive Motorsports takes third. To C class, Team Jackie Yakes, Pistol Star Racing, and Crank Yankers Racing. To D class, your top three, Crowd Control Racing, Team Infinity, and GTD Racing. And to EC, it was Team Salem Salt, which they will pick up a trophy for today's race, because there were at least 5 cars in EC that started the race today.
So I see Ray and Jay, the tech crew, they're down there. They're going to be waving these top finishers into impound, where we will spend approximately 30 minutes looking over those cars. They have to remove the wheels, open the trunk, and open the hood. So teams can come out and check their competition, look at what they've done. That 249, that Salem's car, God, that's good looking. There's the 625, Ed in Team Infinity in the 19 car. Pulls into impound. It's good to see them there. And they've done well here over the years. Still can't quite get that overall win, but they've got numerous top 5 finishes here.
So Team Salem's going to have 2 cars in the impound. They're going to have their Porsche, and then they're also going to bring the RX-7,
the Mustard,
in here as well. Yeah. So your lead B-class car.
It was kind of funny, you know, Team Infinity, the driver got out of the car immediately and started running. I have a feeling he might be heading for the restroom. Because
that would do it.
Because that's Bill's giving me a thumbs up, because you know, not only will this track beat up your car, but it will beat up your kidneys.
That's the only thing that would motivate you to run after being in the car for 2 hours.
Absolutely. He sprinted, you know, cleared the concrete wall separating a hot pit from coal pit like an Olympic what is that called? I can't even think right now.
Oh, they jump the barriers?
The gates. Yeah, what is that called, for goodness sake?
Isn't it funny? When somebody else forgets something they can't remember, then you're struggling to remember what it is, too. We're helpless.
What is it called?
We're completely helpless up
terrible.
Here. And I used to run track when I was in high school. So I never had to jump over those stupid things. Yeah. Somebody's going to message us here on the feed and tell us what it is. It's not the high jump. So it looks like it's Team Salem Salt. It's KSR Flat Out, Crowd Control, Team Jackie Yakes, Glazed and Confused, Agent Chrome, TLM Racing, Team Infinity, BSI Racing, and Team Salem Mustard. Your top 10.
Get the crane.
So it started out as an interesting race from the very beginning. Parts is it Parts Badger? Yeah, they broke a transmission on the opening lap, brought the car in, and spent quite some time fixing it. Once they got the transmission fixed, they commenced to breaking the camshaft in that Miata. So today became just a test day for them, of course. And then it was crowd control that took the overall win today. Was pointed at as passing under yellow the pace truck.
Cherokee, so first race with us. So, Paulie,
yeah,
the thing I've observed up here from my perch overlooking the impound lot is I'm not saying Team Jackie X has done very well here, but their car jacked itself up and took off its own hood and trunk. It's been here so often.
These guys had a good time today. They had a lot of fun. There's Philippe down there working on getting the tires off.
Yeah, that's the only thing the car didn't loosen its own lug nuts. But yeah, we've seen this car in impound so many times. And of course, they'll be hoisting some hardware tomorrow.
Yes, indeed.
And
there will be
and I wouldn't count them out for the win tomorrow.
Yeah, and driver interviews are happening. Oh, hurdles. Thank you, Glenn. We are so pathetic. Hurdles, Doc.
Thank you. Good gosh. Couldn't think of it, with a gun to my head. So Bill's going to do these post-race interviews, and we'll post them up later.
Yep. He'll post those up to Facebook a little bit later on, and then at some point I'll put them together and stick them on YouTube.
And you never know. One of these days he may even post the race recap from Barber.
It could happen.
Which is only 3 weeks ago.
There's always hope, Doc. There's always hope.
Hope springs eternal.
That it does.
The saying goes.
All right, folks, so we're going to call a close to this torture for today for you. But don't you worry. We'll be back tomorrow for another 7 hours of racing at Sebring, Florida. Sebring International Raceway, the ChampCar Endurance Series, presented by RVA Graphics and Wraps, the New Year's celebration here on ChampCar Live. The broadcast has been brought to you today by Low Tide Motorsports. More than just a crew, experience the difference. So until tomorrow, for Bill Strong, Tiffany Alexander, and Doc Waldrop, I'm Paul Veltum, and we'll see you tomorrow, everybody.
Bye.